Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Ken Kitts, President of the University of North Alabama. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the faculty and staff of UNA, I welcome you to this, our fall commencement ceremony honoring post-baccalaureate degree graduates of the College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Business. Please rise as we bow our heads for a moment of silence and give thanks for our many blessings this year and for these special graduates here today. Thank you and amen. Please remain standing for the national anthem.
Thank you.
Be seated. This ceremony represents a very special time for each graduate and his or her family and friends. To maintain the dignity of this distinctive occasion and out of respect for all graduates, we ask that you please silence cell phones now and remain seated until the ceremony is ended so that each graduate's name can be heard when announced. Commencement is a celebration of academic attainment, and to bring greetings to you from the academic community, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ross Alexander. Ross.
Thank you, President Kitts, and thank you for everything you do for UNA and our fine students. Congratulations, graduates. I too welcome and thank you for attending this ceremony. The faculty, staff, and I commend and applaud your momentous accomplishment. This commencement ceremony celebrating and focused solely upon graduate students is a relatively new tradition at UNA. It is also an appropriate one since graduate enrollment is growing rapidly. Graduate students now comprise approximately 30% of the entire UNA student body. This emphasis on graduate education exemplifies the evolution, maturation, and positive trajectory of the university. UNA's prioritization of workforce-relevant, in-demand, and innovative master's and specialist degrees empower graduates to further advance their careers, distinguish themselves in the global marketplace, and outperform graduates from much larger institutions. In addition, most of you earned your respective graduate degrees completely online while working full-time. As you probably know, UNA has established itself as a regional and national leader in online education, with a particular emphasis on graduate degree programs. Please allow me to highlight a few online graduate programs' points of pride. Our Master of Business Administration program remains the largest in the state of Alabama and among the largest in the Southeast by an ever-widening margin. Total enrollment in the MBA program reached 1,100 students this fall. The Family Nurse Practitioner track in the Master of Science of Nursing program is growing by several 100% each and every year due to its quality and market demand. The MS in Mathematics in the College of Arts and Sciences is one of the only fully online mathematics degrees in the nation, is growing rapidly and boasts students from around the world. Beginning this spring semester, UNA will launch its first 2 doctoral degree programs, the Executive Doctor of Business Administration in the College of Business, and the PhD in Exercise Science and Health Promotion in the College of Education and Human Sciences. UNA's distinction as a doctoral level institution, in addition to the meteoric enrollment growth in our online graduate degrees, are 2 examples of our culture of Division I academics. It is surely an exciting time to be at UNA. Congratulations to you all. Thank you, and roar Lions.
Thank you very much, Provost Alexander. I want to introduce now several people who are celebrating this special occasion with you and ask that these individuals stand when their names are called. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Starting with our stage party, Mr. Ron Patterson, Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. State Representative Jamie Keel, our guest speaker, who will be formally introduced later in the program. Dr. Ross Alexander, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Sarah Lynn Baird, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Greg Carnes, Dean of the College of Business. Dr. Mary Lee Gillespie, President of the UNA Alumni Association. And Dr. Jason Watson, President-elect of the UNA Faculty Senate. Please join me in welcoming the stage party. Also want to recognize and thank Dr. Eric Kirkman, Director of the Kilby Laboratory School and Assistant Professor of Education, for providing the wonderful music for these ceremonies. And Eric's been with us through 6 ceremonies. Isn't this amazing? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kirkman. And now to our guest speaker. We are most honored to have with us today State Representative Jamie Keel, who was elected 2 years ago to his first term in the Alabama legislature. Representative Keel represents House District 18, which encompasses the western portions of Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties. Over 1,800 students currently enrolled at UNA, or 22% of our student population, are from his district. And I should note that 27% of our fall graduates are from those counties I mentioned. So would any graduates, parents, or other guests from Lauderdale, Colbert, or Franklin counties please stand to give Representative Keel a snapshot of how many of his constituents are with us today. Again, anyone here from Lauderdale, Colbert, or Franklin counties, please stand at this time. Representative Keel, you should feel very good about that. Thank you. Please be seated. Representative Keel serves on the Ways and Means Education Committee that oversees Alabama's $8 billion education budget. With his wife and his parents all serving as educators, and with 3 daughters in Alabama's public schools, education issues are among his top priorities. He is also a strong advocate for state and local economic development projects. And not only is Representative Keel a true friend and supporter of UNA, he is one of our own, having graduated from this university in 1997 with majors in management and marketing. Representative Keel, his wife Melissa, and their family make their home in Russellville, where he owns a business that serves the tri-state area. And we're delighted to have Mrs. Keel with us today. Thank you for being here. Additional biographical details on Representative Keel are noted in your commencement program, and we are delighted that he could take time from his busy schedule to be with us today. So please join me in giving a warm University of North Alabama welcome home to alumnus and State Representative Jamie Keel.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, Dr. Kitts. They were very complimentary of me. I should know, I wrote them. And so it is good to be back at UNA. Thank you, Dr. Kitts. Thank you, Dr. Alexander, for the invite to be back and to address our graduating folks here today. Dr. Kirkman, man, wow, good job. And another song's coming that's going to blow you away. He did a great job on both songs in the prior ceremony. The wise man, the wisest man that ever lived, King Solomon, he said, to everything there is a season, and to everything under the heavens there's a time. That's some wise words. There is a season for everything. And in some regards, this graduation today is a season. It's an end to this part of school for you. And for some of you, it may be the end of school. Solomon also said, under that season description, he said there's a time to live and a time to die. He said there's a time to plant, a time to harvest. He gave a whole list of things that there are seasons for. And I might add today that there's a time for school and then there's a time for graduation. And so this is a season in your life that you have come through. And I know that you've put in hard work, a lot of time, and a lot of financial investment into this education. I know a little bit about that. My wife graduated with a master's degree also, and I got to help pay for that. And so I understand some of the financial contributions that husbands and wives and parents and you yourselves have made to get to this point today. But graduation should not be the end of your season of learning. Just because you're not in school anymore, learning does not stop. We in Alabama understand seasons. Now today is unseasonably warm, but we understand seasons here that, you know, part of the year is hot, and part of the year is cold. Part of the year, the days are short, and part of the days are long. But that's not the case all over the world. If you were to travel to the equator, the seasons there are not the same. The temperature there stays the same all year long. And the time of day there is about 12 hours of daylight every day and about 12 hours of night. So the seasons are very different. And I want you to think today about your season of learning like the equator and not like the seasons in Alabama. And I hope that you will continue to learn throughout your life, throughout your career, that you will continue to be a learner. Moving past this season of school, some of you, and probably most of you, are already working in your professional career. Some of you will be soon if you're not already. And I want to share with you a slogan today that I adopted many years ago. And that slogan is 4 words, and it's very simple. It's work hard, be nice. Work hard, be nice. Now that makes a great t-shirt. It makes a cool poster. There's a book by that name. It's an easy thing to say, and it's an easy thing to forget. It's a good little byline. But I read that years ago and took that little slogan and sort of made it my own and thought out those things about working hard and being nice. And working hard, again, Solomon said, I've seen there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy his work because that is his reward. Work should be rewarding. Whatever you find yourself doing, it should be rewarding. And if it's not, I would encourage you to find something else to do. It should be your reward, this work. Now, I've worked some 12 and 14-hour days, and sometimes I still do that. Sometimes I work hard in that way. I work long hours sometimes. You will. You probably are or probably have already. But I want to encourage you to think past working long hours and that kind of hard work when you think about working hard. I want you to think about setting goals. I want you to think about getting plans. Be persistent. Do not stop. That's part of work. 4 years ago, I realized an opportunity to become involved in a process called politics. I had never done that before. I did not know how to set out to do that. What I did know is I had to set goals. I had to develop a plan. And I actually even, because of my inexperience, actually even hired somebody to help me develop that plan. 25 pages. Now that's a lot. There's a lot to digest. It's a lot to keep up with. It's a lot to work through. But as I found myself in that plan, doing all the things that you have to do to be successful in seeking political office, and that includes fundraising. Got to raise money to be able to advertise and promote. it included knocking on doors throughout these 3 counties. When I found myself in the heat of June or the heat of July, knocking on doors, sweating, the work equity there that went into that, and thinking, what on earth have I got myself into, and how on earth am I going to get myself out of and through this? I would go back to the plan, go back to the goals that I had set forth, and I would realize this is not the end. There's something better coming. I just got to keep pushing. I just got to keep working. And so I want to encourage you to go to the plan, go to your goals when thinking about working hard. And not only do you need to work hard, you need to be nice. Now, part of being nice is being kind, and we all think about kindness when we think about niceness. And I've worked in the retail industry now for over 30 years, and I've owned my own business for 25. And I've never had a job outside of working directly with the public. That's all I've ever done. Many of you will find yourselves doing the same thing, whether you're teaching or a business owner or whatever you wind up being. Many jobs require you to deal with the public. You will certainly have interpersonal interaction with your colleagues or with someone along the way. And I want to tell you that I have found that kindness is scarce. Not everyone is kind. And so when you run across someone that is kind, I have found that when I am kind, it puts other people at ease. I've also found that it disarms people when they come at you. And sometimes people will come at you if you're working in my case, retail or in the political world, that people will come at you. It's so uncommon that people are often shocked when someone is nice to them, when they run across someone, when they come at someone in an adversarial way, they find out that person is kind or nice. It's almost shocking to them. If you'll be kind, it will be a tool that you can use in your professional life. Now, part of being nice for me is also being grateful. Showing gratitude every day. It may be just a text to someone to tell them that you appreciate something they did for you, but or just a kind word. But if you really want to be shockingly nice, write them a handwritten thank you card when somebody does something nice to you. I have a box of cards in my office at work and a box of cards in my office in Montgomery. Now, I'm not talking about fine stationery with a letterhead and an insignia on it. I'm talking about cheap Walmart thank you cards. It doesn't have to be expensive. It really is the thought that counts when it comes to being gracious and showing gratitude and being thankful. And when you handwrite someone a card, it shows them that you will go that extra mile to show them your gratitude. And I've used that during my professional career. Now, for me, being nice is also giving. It's about giving back. It's about giving back of your time. And that might be giving back politically, as I've chose to do. It may be giving back in your community. It might be giving back to your school through your time. But whatever you do, I want to encourage you to give back. Now, giving is also, as hard as it can be, giving your money and giving your resources as you are blessed by those. My parents modeled this for me when I grew up. My parents were both teachers, as Dr. Kitts noted a few minutes ago, and both graduate school students and graduates from UNA. And when they started out, when they got married, my mom and dad lived in a single-wide mobile home in Russellville, and we still live there. Dad was teaching at Clements High School in Limestone County. Mom was a freshman student here at UNA and in the school to become a teacher. And every day, they only had one car, so my dad they would ride together. Dad would drop her off from Russellville at UNA. He would drive to Clements, teach all day, come back to UNA, pick her up, and drive home. And that's the way they started out. That was hard times. You might say that we were poor, and we might have been. I didn't realize it if we were as a child, but with one income and then barely two when I was born, we were probably poor. I didn't realize it. But one thing that my parents did do and exemplify for me and model for me was giving. My dad was a volunteer firefighter as well as being a teacher. They volunteered, but they also gave monetarily. And although they didn't have much, they still gave. I have taken that philosophy as my own, and our family has, and I have done the same thing. Now, at first, they made me give. When I would receive, my parents made me give. And then later on, now, I have adopted that as a philosophy. The funny thing about giving that I have found out is that the more I give, the more I receive. The more money, and that's typically what we think of in giving, the more money I give, the more money I have made. And I can look back through my life. I keep my old checkbooks. Most folks don't have checkbooks, but I still have the ones from, 1993, 1995, and I can go back through there and see where I wrote a check to my church for $10 because I only made $100 in a month or a week or whatever that time was. But you will find out that the more you give, the more you receive. Now, somebody might say that I have the chicken and the egg mixed up there. All I know is give more, I get more. However the chicken and the egg work. Finally, luck. Now, I've never really ascribed to the traditional definition of luck. I've never thought that was true. I'm more prone to believe in providence and what the Bible says. And it says a man's steps are established by the Lord. But there is a definition of luck that I do ascribe to. And it's a Roman philosopher said, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And I use that definition a lot. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And where you have been during this process is preparing. You've been preparing to meet that opportunity. I hope you'll work hard. I hope you'll get a plan. I hope you set goals, and I hope you'll be persistent. I hope you'll be nice. I hope you'll work hard, and I hope you'll be nice. I hope you'll be kind. I hope you'll be grateful, and I hope you give back so that when your opportunity comes, you'll be the luckiest person in the world. Congratulations on your day, on your accomplishment, and roar lines.
Thank you very much, Representative Keel, for those wonderful and inspiring remarks. It is my pleasure to again introduce Dr. Eric Kirkman for a musical selection.
America, land
Thank you so much, Dr. Kirkman. We will now present candidates for the conferral of their respective degrees. Again, please remain seated until the ceremony is ended so that each graduate's name can be heard when announced. Dr. Alexander.
As you are able, would candidates for master's degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences please stand and remain standing? President Kitts, on behalf of the graduate faculty, the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and the Graduate Council, it is with great pleasure that I present these candidates to you for the conferral of their master's degree.
Through the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees for the University of North Alabama, I now bestow upon each of you your respective master's degree. Congratulations. You may be seated.
As you are able, would candidates for master's degrees in the College of Business please stand and remain standing? President Kitts, on behalf of the graduate faculty, the Dean of the College of Business, and the Graduate Council, it is with great pleasure that I present these candidates to you for the conferral of their master's degree.
Through the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees for the University of North Alabama, I now bestow upon each of you your respective master's degree. Congratulations. Please be seated. Graduates, many of you may have earned your bachelor's degrees from UNA, but others of you are now new graduates of this institution. In either regard, you all are now alumni of the University of North Alabama, and our Alumni Association President, Dr. Mary Lee Gillespie, will now come to the podium to extend greetings.
Congratulations on your master's. What an accomplishment that you continued to learn. Thank you, Dr. Kitts, for allowing me to address them. So how did I get here? I was in the cap and the gown about 24 years ago and went on to receive my doctorate at UAB School of Dentistry. And I've been practicing dentistry for about 20 years in Muscle Shoals, and I'm eternally grateful to this university. And I hope that you share my passion to keep on going and spread the word at how great our university is. So I'm going to start by a little dental joke. We don't have many, but just bear with me. So, what did the dentist receive when he graduated from school? A little plaque. They got it. They got it. And y'all applaud. Thank you, Dr. Kirkman. Anywho, thank y'all for the applause. Each of you are about to write a new story. The initial chapters of your education are almost complete, but you need to continue your learning. Keep going. Get that doctorate. Our university has now given you an opportunity to continue with a great legacy. I pray that each of you make the most of your education that you've worked so hard to receive. Can I get an amen from the families, the husbands, the children? Amen. Hold on to your passion for UNA and continue to support this university and its dreams of its leaders. Help be another voice for Dr. Kitts in his Project 208 and become a super fan for our Division I teams. Please join the Alumni Association over in Rogers Hall and stay connected with other alumni who are passionate about our university. As you begin your next season in life, I leave you a quote from Mary McLeod Bethune, a great humanitarian. I leave you love. I leave you hope. I leave you the challenge of developing confidence in one another. I leave you a thirst for education. I leave you a respect for the use of power. I leave you faith. I leave you racial dignity. I leave you a desire to live harmoniously with your fellow man. I leave you the responsibility to our young people. If I have left a legacy, it is my philosophy of living and serving. I think I have spent my life well. I pray now that my philosophy may be helpful to each of you who share in my vision for peace, progress, brother and sisterhood, and love. Please be proud that you are a UNA alumni, and welcome to the family. And roar Lions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gillespie, and thank you for being with us through these ceremonies. So graduates, those of us in the platform party, we've had our time in the spotlight, and now it's your turn. And we welcome the opportunity to celebrate you individually for your degrees. Will the marshals please conduct the candidates to the platform?
Edijay. Catherine Tully Del Greco. Kenneth Del Greco. Tamika Fitzpatrick. Joseph Gannon. Camry Dortch. Brock Richard Cody. Carrie Matthew Qualls. Austin Bolton. Gwendolyn Spencer. Julius Griffin. Abigail Michelle Sides. Megan Armstead. Amber Victoria Sharp. Latoria Almond Jones. Kenneth Brent Swan. Ezekiel Augustin de Mario. Arthur Johnson. Regina Burrell. Colby Nix. Hung Heidi Pham. Arthur Marble. Sarah Catherine Sanders. Kimberly Hall. Naomi Mitchell. Paul Michael. Taylor Ragsdale Franks. Talon Ray Walton. Brandon Dale White. Sierra Danielle Smith. Lauren Dye Lumpkin. Hannah Kent. Courtney Perline King. Whitney S. Stanley. Dylan Fanning. Madison Kyle Burt. Eric Ree Perry. Wayne Brian Jagrup. Catherine Hanberry. Sarah Jean Stevens. Chelsea Parrish. Amy Elaine Fritz. Leanna Brown. Theron W. Brown, Jr. William Jordan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me as we honor all these graduates with a well-deserved round of applause. Graduates, stand up and turn around. Look at these people that love you and have supported you to get you here. Thank you all very much. Please be seated. Graduates, truly, we commend you for your hard work, your sacrifices, and the perseverance that have led you to the platform this afternoon. We're very proud of you. We're proud of all of our graduates of UNA. We are especially proud of you, our courageous COVID class of fall 2020. We will never doubt your perseverance. As you leave this university to make your mark in the world, I have but one request, and that is take UNA with you wherever you go. And I mean that. Take this wonderful, beautiful, historic, and important university with you. Carry it in your heart wherever you go. And when you meet alumni years from now, do so with that hearty Roar Lions, and know that we send our very best wishes with you. I would like to thank Dr. Ross Alexander, Mr. Ron Patterson, Dr. Jana Beaver, Dr. Jeremy Stafford, Dr. Molly Mathis for their help with today's program. We thank you all for being here today to celebrate these graduates. And at this point, I will ask the audience to please rise for the playing of the Alma Mater.